My smart fridge ordered 47 jars of pickles while I was asleep. My wife thinks I'm having an affair with pickles. Original post. I need to preface this by saying my marriage is genuinely good. Rachel and I have been together 6 years, married for 3, and up until last week, I would have described us as one of those disgustingly stable couples who never fight about anything real. We fight about whose turn it is to load the dishwasher. We fight about whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie. We do not fight about infidelity, because there has never been any infidelity to fight about. Then the fridge happened. Let me back up. 8 months ago, Rachel convinced me to buy a smart fridge, one of those absurd appliances with a touchscreen on the front, a camera inside that tracks what you have, and an app that supposedly learns your habits and reorders groceries automatically when you're running low. I thought it was a ridiculous waste of $3,200, but Rachel loves gadgets and I love Rachel, so we got it. For 8 months, it worked fine. It ordered milk when we ran low. It ordered eggs. Once it ordered an extra dozen eggs because it sensed a pattern in our omelet consumption, which was mildly annoying but harmless. 3 weeks ago, I started feeling off. Not sick, just tired in a way that didn't make sense. I chalked it up to work stress. I'm a project manager at a mid-sized logistics company, and we'd just gone through a rough quarter. I started sleeping later, going to bed earlier, generally being boring and exhausted. Rachel noticed, joked that I was getting old, and life went on. Then, the pickles started arriving. The first delivery was 6 jars. I didn't think much of it, figured Rachel had ordered them, or maybe I had, while sleep-deprived and forgotten, since I do sometimes doom-scroll shopping apps at 1 a.m. when I can't sleep. I put them in the pantry and moved on with my life. 3 days later, another delivery, 11 jars this time. Different brands, different types. Bread and butter, dill spears, spicy garlic, 1 jar of something called Nashville hot pickles that neither of us had ever heard of. Rachel found me standing in the kitchen staring at the box like it was a crime scene. "Did you order pickles?" she asked. "No," I said. "Did you?" She hadn't. We both assumed it was some kind of subscription glitch, a one-time weird algorithm hiccup, and honestly, we laughed about it. We joked that the fridge had developed a personality. We joked that it was having a midlife crisis. We did not, at that point, think anything was actually wrong. Then came the third delivery, 30 jars, 30. The delivery guy had to make 2 trips from his van because they wouldn't fit in one cart. Rachel signed for it because I was at work, and when I got home, there was an entire wall of pickle jars stacked against our kitchen counter like we were prepping for a siege. That's when Rachel stopped laughing. "Okay, seriously," she said, arms crossed, standing in front of what can only be described as a pickle fortress. "What is going on?" I genuinely didn't know. I pulled up the fridge's app to check the order history, and sure enough, all 47 jars across 3 deliveries had been ordered through our account, through our fridge, using our saved payment method. Total cost, just over $340. The order history didn't show a person attached to the orders, just the fridge's device ID, timestamped, always between 2 and 4 a.m. Here's where it gets complicated. Rachel, who has watched more true crime and infidelity drama content than any human should probably consume, had a theory. Her theory was that I was secretly meeting someone, she wouldn't say who, at 2 to 4 a.m., using the pickle orders as some kind of signal or code, possibly for a person who worked at the grocery delivery company, possibly involving pickles as an inside joke between me and this mystery woman. I want to be extremely clear that this theory made 0 sense, and I told her so. She did not appreciate that. She pointed out, not unreasonably, that I had been acting exhausted and distant for 3 weeks, exactly the same 3 weeks the fridge started malfunctioning. She pointed out that I sleep with my phone face down now, which I started doing because her cat kept knocking it off the nightstand and cracking the screen, but which she has apparently been quietly cataloging as suspicious behavior. We had our first real fight in 3 years of marriage, over pickles, ordered by a refrigerator. Update 1, 2 days later. Things escalated in a way I did not see coming. After the fight, Rachel went quiet for a day, which, for her, is much worse than yelling. I tried to explain again that I had no idea why the fridge was ordering pickles, that I wasn't secretly meeting anyone, that the entire premise made no logical sense, since pickles are not, to my knowledge, a widely recognized symbol of infidelity in any culture I'm aware of. She wasn't fully buying it, but she agreed to actually investigate instead of just being upset. So I called the fridge manufacturer's support line. This is a real conversation I had, verbatim as I remember it. "Hi, I'm calling because my smart refrigerator has ordered 47 jars of pickles over the past 2 weeks without my authorization." There was a long pause. Then, "I'm sorry, did you say 47 jars?" 47 jars. Yes. Another pause, and then I heard what was unmistakably the sound of the support rep trying not to laugh. He put me on hold, came back 10 minutes later, and explained that the fridge's smart reorder feature uses an AI model that learns from patterns in your fridge's internal camera, what it sees you eating, how often, and adjusts orders accordingly. He asked if I'd been eating a lot of pickles lately. I had not been eating pickles. I hate pickles. I have hated pickles since childhood. My mother used to put them on every sandwich, and I'd pick them off and leave them in a sad little pile on the side of my plate. Rachel knows this about me. It's practically a defining personality trait in our house. Mike doesn't do pickles is a known fact, the same way people know I don't watch horror movies or that I'm allergic to shellfish. So why would the AI think I want wanted Pickles. Then Rachel, who'd been listening on speaker, went very still. "Oh my God," she said. "It's not learning from you. It's learning from Duke. Duke is our dog, a very large, very food-motivated German Shepherd mix who has, over the past 3 weeks, developed a habit of sneaking into the kitchen at night and stealing food out of the fridge's lower drawer, which doesn't seal properly since we had it repaired last year. The fridge's internal camera had apparently been recording something eating from the pickle jar we already had in the fridge, the one normal jar we occasionally used for Rachel's sandwiches, at 2 to 4 a.m. every single night, and had been auto-reordering to keep up with what it interpreted as skyrocketing pickle consumption. Duke, our dog, had a secret pickle addiction, and the fridge had been quietly enabling it for 3 weeks, while Rachel built an entire infidelity conspiracy theory around 2 a.m. deliveries that were actually a 90-pound dog raiding the crisper drawer for garlic dills. Update 2. 1 week later, we checked the fridge's internal camera footage, which the app conveniently stores for up to 30 days, and there it was, grainy night vision footage of Duke, nose deep in the vegetable drawer, methodically working his way through jar after jar of pickles like some kind of deli-obsessed cat burglar. He'd figured out how to nudge the drawer open with his snout, extract a jar, somehow pop the lid with his teeth. We still don't fully understand this part. My working theory is he's part raccoon, and eat the contents while leaving the empty jar standing upright like nothing happened. The AI had been faithfully doing its job. It just had no way of knowing the customer eating all those pickles was a dog with boundary issues and questionable snack judgment. Rachel's reaction went through about 5 stages. First, disbelief. Then, hysterical laughter, the kind where you can't breathe and have to sit on the kitchen floor. Then, a brief wave of guilt for accusing me of an affair with, in her words, presumably, a woman named Brenda who works at a pickle factory. Then, more laughing. Then, she made me watch the footage 4 more times because Duke's stealth mode walk toward the fridge is, admittedly, incredible content. I want to say the apology was gracious and immediate, but honestly, it took a solid 2 days of Rachel periodically dissolving into laughter mid-sentence before she could get through a full, "I'm sorry I accused you of having an affair with Pickles," without cracking up again. We got Duke checked by the vet just to be safe, since 47 jars of pickle brine over 3 weeks is not exactly a balanced canine diet. He's fine. Apparently, dogs can tolerate small amounts of pickle without major issue, though the vet gently suggested we reconsider our refrigerator's security measures and maybe invest in a drawer lock, which is a sentence I never imagined needing to hear from a veterinary professional. The twist. Here's the part that made this whole thing into something we still can't fully explain. 2 days after we figured out the pickle mystery, I got a call from the fridge manufacturer's support line. They were following up on my original complaint. The rep informed me, somewhat sheepishly, that after reviewing my account, they discovered our fridge's AI model had been quietly sharing anonymized consumption pattern data with a regional grocery delivery partner as part of some beta testing program we apparently agreed to in the fine print when we set up the device 8 months ago. Meaning,